Hello everybody, Tracy Brown here. Hope you had a great weekend. I didn't even post yesterday because I was like, ugh, I'm tired. I don't even want to be on Facebook that much. I was a little. And you all know that I'm trying to keep a good, strong boundary around Sundays for myself. So I was like, I'm not going to even put anything up because, they know I'm trying to take it easy. So it's all right. So I hope you have your coffee ready. And I hope you also have a place you love to get it because I have my two options. I have Starbucks, of course. But twice a week I go to this bakery. Oh my goodness, it's serious wonderfulness of just such good homemade stuff, and not just the bakery stuff, but like soups and really good salads, and there's some kind of Serbian specialties, like different meat pockets and stuff. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Anyway, makes me hungry again. I need to eat a second breakfast. But anyway, today and this week we're going to be talking about overall, the theme of the week is me teaching the nuances of intuitive eating, and we're going to jump into some health, weight, fears, but honestly that takes, I could spend 3 months talking about that topic and dive in there, but we're going to make little versions of it today. So I just want to encourage you all to not be afraid to really dig in to people's food journals. Those of, at least, even if your clients don't keep food journals, to really unpack their eating, because where I found the most success in working with clients is sometimes, there's one thing to talk about body positivity and doing intuitive eating. There's another to show them where the benefits of taking risks to actually do it are found in their day. So for example, this is, cover her name, but this is a note that I took, and I take paper notes, by the way, of a client session. I reviewed 2 days with her, and at the beginning we're just kind of talking about her food and what's been going on, and she knows she can actually do the hunger fullness work. We could tell what number she was going to, but what she wasn't doing was actually just acknowledging. She knew it wasn't enough, but there wasn't full frontal acknowledgement of, hey, I know this isn't quite enough, and I'm telling myself that, well, I just ate, or I'm going to eat in whatever many hours, and so this is okay. So she needed help seeing the rationalization. And this is a client, by the way, who wants to move forward. She's motivated to move forward, but she still has a ton of fear. And so that fear is kind of almost in the background, overriding this inner, I call it for my clients who are very kind of anxious clients, this this inner authority, or this competent, authoritative, for their own self with their food figure, and learning how to access and resource that. But we can't really get to that place unless we get through kind of the clutter of what she's doing with her eating and what she's telling herself about the feedback she's getting. So she's getting feedback, she can acknowledge it, but unless I go there with her meal by meal and say, what was happening, what were you telling yourself about this, then she could get to the end of the day and say, oh yeah, I didn't eat enough food, but now I'm just too scared to do it. I know I need to, and it's really frustrating, and it annoys me that I don't do it, but I'm not too scared to do it. Well, it's because she's never had a chance to build up her own confidence to see she actually knows more than she gives herself credit for. It's just that without that acknowledgement of she knows more than she thinks, she believes she doesn't know enough, or she can't do it, everything's too much. And so basically, I'm having her tune into, here's the food, here's the feedback, this is what you're telling yourself. And then also at the end of the day with all this, because you are motivated to change it, is your annoyance. So here's your annoyance, and here's the feedback and the rationalization. What do you actually want? What do you actually want to do with all this information? And so we did 2 days of this, actually. Again, times, hunger, fullness, the amount of food, and she's really good at eyeballing, amounts and handfuls and stuff like that. And then, again, I'm not doing any directing on what she should say or what she should do. I had to help her really get down to the bottom. If I don't want to be annoyed, and I'm sick of all this rationalization, and I'm really tired of kind of being on So this is how I described it. This is what I showed her, what it looks like in her body, is that when she is staying always just a little bit hungry, not dieting consciously, but just like this little bit of holding on, her body looks like this when I see her. And what would it be like? And I had her feel what it would feel like to feel like this, like, okay, I got enough. Between that and her feeling like, really acknowledging, like, I'm really annoyed by all this, to be perfectly honest. I've been doing this a year and I'm kind of getting really sick of all this. And again, this client started off at the very beginning, never had any work done ever. She'd been dieting for several years and then slipped into anorexia, and is in a great place, by the way. She's doing awesome. It's just that now we're cleaning up this fear. We're cleaning up this rejection of our own wisdom. We're cleaning up the fear of change. That's actually in her life, but it's being manifested through her food, her body stance, everything. So, when she could be honest about how her rationalization with her eating was actually impacting her, she could say, like, I'd like to have better energy and not being so thinking about her food constantly. So we talked about, like, how can we set some parameters that you could start looking for to help you feel like this is worth the effort to take some risk and you're willing to deal with the fear of the unknown. But what would be some things that you could check off every single day? This is my experiment that I created for her. And again, you guys should save this video. Please download it and save it, because this is similar to what I do in my individual supervision with people and what I do with, in my 3-month, decoding and counseling skills training. Is I have a lot of tools that I use all the time, and sometimes I have a tool, after all, I've been doing this 12 years, that I've never done before. I kind of make it up in the session with the client because it just drafts off what I know about them and how they operate, and what their personality is like, and if they're an assignment-based person versus a connection-based person, whatever. This person does a lot better when she has expectations on her to follow through with something. She's very loyal and she wants to do a good job. So let's use that. So anyway, our parameters are to look for each week when she faces her fear. Does she have better energy? Does she have more focus with what she's doing in her life? Does she feel more satisfied? And does she have less food preoccupation? Because these are the things that annoy her, the opposites of them. So let's use the opposites. What do you want? Can we check that off every day? And by the end of the week, have these things been worth the not knowing what needs to happen? Have these been worth the risk, essentially? And then she was able to come up with, how do you do this then? How do we do some in your pretty regular, she eats very routinely, like 3 meals and a pretty big snack at night. How does this work for you in your day then with these meals? What would you add to, like, these 2 days, for example, these 2 samples, and boom, boom, boom. She knows what she would eat. She's very good at putting meals together. She's actually a good cook. It's simple. It's not extravagant. Simple ingredients. She knows how to rotate her food to not get bored, honestly. She's good at that. Use those strengths. And she kind of knew what she wanted. So she was able to list it off, and I didn't say a word. I'm like, yeah, that does sound like they go together. Good match. I would enjoy that. Because she likes to hear some feedback about, like, is this okay? So I give that to her a little bit. So yeah, that's an example of how to do some more nuanced intuitive eating work. And again, I went through it pretty quickly. I didn't go through, like, every little detail of every meal, because that's something I do. I would want to do more individually with a person or in a live group. But yeah, so that's an example of how you can dig in deeper. And that's what we're going to do this week. So I was going to talk about benefits of behaviors more. I mean, I've done a lot of that in depth in the trainings, but we'll save that for another day. And maybe we'll go deeper into our free journal tomorrow about the benefits of trying to rationalize that this amount of food that she always wants to stay at. What's the benefit of that? We'll talk about that tomorrow. What's the benefit to her of doing that? Because she's been doing it a long time, but we'll talk about why she's doing it. Okay, and how I found out why she was doing it. I'm looking at my list this week. Okay, so this is Make It Happen Monday, I'm calling it, and I want you to go out and do this with a client today. If you don't have any clients yet, I want you to think about looking at any ways that we put ourselves, like, we tell ourselves that what we're doing that isn't working for us, that we're okay with it. Like whether it's rationalization or repression or denial. And I said this all very lovingly. We all do stuff like that. Procrastination, whatever your thing is, see if you can catch it and what it would be like just to be able to acknowledge the pros and cons of it. Because that's essentially what we did in the session. Like, what is happening here? And how is she telling herself that this is okay? When there's another part of her who knew that it wasn't, and it wasn't working because she was annoyed. When you can tap into, like, how is this going for you? How do you feel about this? That's what I asked her. How do you feel about these 2 days? And part of her's, she wasn't happy about it. She's not happy at this point about just getting by. So that's where I dove in. So I hope that was helpful to y'all today. That's just a taste of what things can look like for, going through your own individual situations or sessions. But anyway, I hope you have a great day, and please leave me comments, tag me, and then I kind of collect all that, and then on Fridays I'll be trying to answer it. Okay? So thank you so much, and take care. Have a great week. See you tomorrow. Bye.